Cool. So, Torben, do you want to talk us through what we're seeing here?
Absolutely. So, as you said, this is a new kind of online adventure, and it really is about earning drift scores around circuits. We basically took the asphalt circuits in the game and turned them into what are essentially giant drift zones. The basic rules are really simple. You go in, you do a lap, and the best drift score you get over an entire lap becomes your position. So it's literally about drifting corners and having fun in the game.
And the reason it's your best lap and not the overall race is because if you stack it into a wall on the first corner, it's not race over. It's get around the laps as quick as you can and have your next lap be the lap.
Exactly. And it's not even about the number of laps that you do. There are 7 minutes, and do as many or indeed as few laps as you want to in that time, just focusing on getting the very best drift circuit that you can do.
So the way that it works is when you cross the finish line, you bank the score that you got so far on that lap.
Exactly.
So I think that the baller strategy is going to be to do an amazing drift on the first lap and then park up next to the start line, just firing quick chat phrases and honking your horn.
As people go past. Well, I mean, that would be that would really be bold, because you would be betting that no one else could do a better lap.
But you'll notice that you can't grief people.
Exactly. So interestingly, we actually went into the Discord a couple of weeks back and talked about this feature when it was a little bit earlier on in development, when collisions were still on, for example.
Yeah, and that was the first time we've ever done anything like that, really. So if you aren't yet part of the Forza Horizon Discord, I would suggest that you do become part of the Forza Horizon Discord, because Torben and I dropped in there one evening. We basically revealed every detail we could about the feature and just had a chat with you guys about it, and it was really good. I think we enjoyed it. We had a great time, and it was at such a point where we were still able to make a few tweaks and changes to the way the scoring works, to the way the championships are put together. So yeah, if you aren't yet part of the Discord, I would join it, because I'm sure there'll be many more opportunities like that in the future to get involved.
I mean, what specifically came out of it was an actual call on whether we should go collisions on and collisions off. Because I mean, we had the feeling in testing that we were going to see snarls in this kind of situation where collisions would actually not be great. But we just wanted to kind of sanity check that and get a sense of how people in the community felt about that as well.
Yeah. I was definitely in team collisions off, but I needed you guys to back me up, so thanks for that.
The other thing, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were going to move on there. Go on.
And the other thing that came out of that was the way that we actually created the championships themselves. So there are essentially 4 classes: A and B class, S1 and S2, and within each class there is rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, just splitting those up. You see that when you're going into the adventure, so you can pick the car, and even the specifically tuned car, as you mentioned. Drift tuning is very track specific.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a huge amount of fun. And we looked a lot at what we should do in terms of dirtying laps, specifically trying to avoid situations where people might turn around and try to get multiple laps without ever going through the finish line. If you do that, you'll get what we call a dirty lap, and you've got to go back through the start to reset it. But I think that's really the only time we dirty laps.
Yeah, so any collisions, any wheels off surface is all allowed.
Doesn't matter, exactly.
Albeit you can't score points when your wheels are
precisely.
off surface, yeah.
Though Edinburgh, I think, is a perfect storm there, because there's racification around the tracks, and every surface you drive on, even tram tracks and pavements and such, we've marked those up so they should count as surfaces you can drift on. But if you do come off the road in some of the more rural tracks, well, it won't count if your wheels aren't on the hard surface.
Cool.
What I was going to ask is, what are the mechanics that go into the drift score, Torben? Can you tell us, like, what are the functions of scoring? How can I get a good score?
We've kind of touched on it a little bit when Chris was talking about what to build for. It's 2 things. It's the angle of the car, and it's the speed that it's moving when it is at that angle. So you basically want the largest possible angle and the highest possible speed. And I mean, we can see some really...
Highest possible speed?
Up to about 90 miles an hour.
Yes, so that is key to note as well when you are putting your tune together. That in the equation that is generating the skill score you see at the bottom of the screen there is a maximum speed over which speed no longer increases your score. So you do want to manage throttle a little bit, which I think adds just an extra layer of...
Exactly, because I mean...
And normal people won't know about that 90 mile per hour limit as well. So you guys watching the stream have got
inside the knowledge.
An inside track in order to build the perfect tunes. for this mode right now?
So, as we said, it's a flat 7 minutes on each of the 3 events that make up a Drift Adventure. So, a Drift Adventure consists of 3 events. They are thematically grouped. They're grouped by weather as well. For the launch of this, we decided to go with dry weather across the board.
Yeah.
So going in, is this going to be a winter? Is this going to be a winter event? In which case, take a car that will do well in winter, but you don't need to worry about a sudden snowstorm coming in, because we wanted it to be as predictable as possible. It was one of the things that was raised in the chat as well, just be predictable about the weather.
Great. So in this video here, I have not actually watched it all the way through yet, but I think we've got Andy behind the wheel of the camera car.
Yes.
So looking at the leaderboard, he's currently in 2nd, and I believe that GD2 Xbox is you, Chris. So as much as we say, hey, make sure the camera car wins,
it's a little bit difficult when
Chris just cannot turn off the competitiveness.
Oh.
I had a small car advantage as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is very similar to the car that we've just watched you tune, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
this is
driving,
pretty much,
and you
yeah.
are in one of the Formula Drift cars.
Yeah, with 1800 horsepower.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. So.
And so this is available in unranked and indeed in ranked versions, and because there's such a high ceiling on skill in this game mode, ranked Drift Adventure is going to be quite something.
It's all free for all, no teams.
Exactly, free for all, no teams.
Yeah. Even though it does sometimes feel like you're in a team, doesn't it? When you're nailing that tandem drift.
exactly.
There's no scoring for tandem drifting, but in your head you feel like there is.
Yes.
It's like you feel like that drift was much better when it was next to another person. Yes. So this, as Torben said, will be available in ranked, and so it will count towards your ranked online adventure part of the festival playlist. So. You can tick that off however you like in any of the 4 types of ranked adventure, this being one of them. So, and I would recommend that you do this one because it's new and it's cool and it's an extremely fun way to play the game.